Hey, what's up, everybody? Thanks for joining us. I see there's a few of you here, so glad to have you. I'm Corey, head of growth for Baremetrics. I've got Pedro with me, and basically we're going to keep it really kind of informal. Pedro's going to treat me like one of his clients, and he's so generous to be able to help me out. The goal is to create a new landing page for one of our upcoming feature launches in around 60 minutes-ish, if we can. It'll be a challenge, but challenge accepted. So glad to be able to have you guys here and kind of be a fly on the wall as we get going on this thing.
Awesome. And on my end, my name is Pedro. I'm basically like a SaaS messaging consultant. I just help SaaS companies, improve their messaging so they can get better conversions. And what we're doing here is like exactly the same thing as I would do with clients. I didn't ask Corey any questions, so we can make this as realistic as possible. So you guys can, recreate this and use it yourself. And usually I do this in tool calls, so it'll be interesting to make it in 60 minutes. But I'm pretty confident we can make that happen.
Let's do it. I'm
Awesome.
ready for you, Pedro.
So I'll just start sharing the screen, and we can get started. Okay, so you can see, we're seeing ourselves, right?
Yep.
Okay, perfect. So basically, this is the Google Doc. I think I can give you guys the Google Doc. The only thing is I couldn't set up this redirect. But I mean, I can give you the Google Doc if you guys are interested, like the view version, so you guys can copy it and try it yourselves. But basically, we'll have this like an agenda for this, so we have everything planned, and we'll just get started. So as far as what we'll need to do first is figure out what's wrong with the current page. So I'll just create a list just to make sure that the new page doesn't cover those mistakes. So we're just going to look at the current page, at the moment, and see what's wrong, compile that, and turn it into a list. So one thing that I've noticed is you guys are showing like the live demo for Recover, where the live demo just shows some metrics, doesn't really show how Recover works. So I think it doesn't make sense for this one. So I'm just gonna type that in. Live demo CTA doesn't make sense. Then we could say one thing that's stood out is sometimes you're focusing on recovering money instead of just stop losing money, because people like to focus more on not losing instead of winning back. And the way I think it's the easiest to do this is because one of the problems is we can kind of understand what Recover does, but there's no like urgency to get started right now, because you might have perfect messaging, but if you don't have the urgency, you're still not going to convert. So we kind of need to fix that, and by fixing that, we need to quantify as much as possible how much money they're losing. So we could say not focus on focusing on winning, on recovering money instead of quantifying how much they are losing. Okay. This is like another thing with your page is like, it's kind of like a common mistake where you just show, okay, here is the things we're offering. So here are like the features or the benefits, and there's no like order in how these things would happen. So people don't understand, okay, here's the first step, here's how I get started. Now I can see the full picture of how I can use it to get this results. And that makes it believable, and that makes it accessible, because you really show how easy it is. So if, like you're saying here, you create custom campaigns, and then I have pop-ups, and then I have reminders, and I'm not seeing how this all goes together. So I think it'll make more sense once we actually start writing the copy and see how this works. But that's one of the problems as well, is we're not really, we are focusing on features independently instead of,
and it's very brief too.
The full setup.
It doesn't really get into how we recover the money and also, reduce the churn. It's just, we're kind of giving these features out of context of how they actually help a little bit.
Yeah. I think that's a valid point. We'll fix that later. I think let's say the amount of information you have per section is good. So we'll see how that goes later. One thing that I really don't like is you just, instead of saying, okay, you can convert right now, you can try Recover for free, you can try it for 14 days. It's basically like free money for the first 14 days. You're just telling me, okay, go look to somewhere to other features that we have, and just delay the decision. And one thing that is also interesting is that Recover is like an add-on for current customers, right?
Yeah.
It's not independent.
No.
So you're telling current customers to go check other features that they already use.
Right.
So now that we say that, doesn't really make that much sense. So let's say, I'm just going to say get rid of the learn more links.
Yeah, and need to replace the other feature links with like a really strong call to action.
Yeah, I'm just going to say weak call to action in the middle and at the end. And I think that's about it, because now we'll focus on the goals of the new version that you want for the page, and see what do you think people are not really understanding about your product. Because here's how it works. We want to, it doesn't matter that if your product is different or better, is how people perceived, those differences and how obvious you make them. So yeah, that's what we need to do. And so because you've talked with customers so much regularly, I want to get some ideas out of you of what are the misconceptions that people have, and what are things that you think is amazing about Recover, but people don't really know about them.
Yeah, totally. So I kind of think about it in a couple different ways, because like you mentioned, it is an add-on feature. So we have to kind of figure out the different contexts that people are possibly looking at this in. So I'll start with like one, there's a lot of people who don't know, basically who don't have a dunning solution. So Recover is a dunning solution. Basically, it helps you reduce the failed charges and does all the automated work you need to in order to get someone to update their payment method and then continue their subscription with you. And a lot of people don't know that they need something like that in the first place. And they think that either like their current system does it for them. For example, a lot of people think that Stripe does dunning, when in fact they don't. They have a smart retries feature, which retries a card again, but it doesn't actually communicate to try to get someone to update to a new payment method. And they send one initial email notification that says, hey, your payment has failed, but that's already after the fact. There's a lot of work that can be done before, and there's a lot of work that can be done afterwards as well. And so there's a lot of people that don't know that they need something like this. A lot of people that are confused about what it is that they need, or they think that they already have something in place when in fact they don't. And then in the same bucket of people, there's a lot of people who think that they can do it manually, or that basically like employ a team to kind of do it for them. So they might have like their customer success or customer support people, once a month look at all the delinquent customers and then send an email or try to call them or message them through intercom or whatever it is, which is also very ineffective because it's not timely. It's again, like only an initial kind of notification. It's not really a real-time or persistent cause. And so manual is really not a solution for them. Now there's the other type of people who are aware that they need something and that they probably maybe already have something in place, and they just need to know why they should switch to Recover. And so we want them to know essentially what Recover does, how we're different, and also that we've just launched this new kind of version of it. That's kind of the new and improved version, because some might think, for example, that this was like something we launched 3 years ago and then haven't touched, or that it's not really like a main part of Baremetrics, when in fact it's a huge part of it, and we really want to push all of our customers to use it.
Okay, I mean, I love that. I think you had like very good points. One thing about Stripe, like it only sends like a reminder if the card fails. Is everyone using Stripe, or do you support other payment gateways?
Good question. Yeah, we support other payment gateways. Stripe in particular, we find, I hear the most that people think, well, I'll just say Stripe is definitely our largest like integration provider. And so that's where the large majority of our customers are, and kind of like our bread and butter. We definitely want to talk to the Stripe people. But we do have other integrations with like Braintree, Recurly. I can name some of the other ones as well. You can also, some people have multiple integrations, so they're maybe using 2 different processors, maybe Stripe for all their web stuff, and then Braintree for all their PayPal stuff. And so you can also integrate multiple systems too with Recover.
But neither Chargely or Braintree send these reminders, right?
Correct. Yeah, and that's one of the things we have to be sort of. It's a little bit hard to educate on, because Recurly has this, is similar to Stripe, right? In that they're like a subscription management platform, right? So they're going to retry a card. They'll probably send an initial email. I think you can also set up a couple of emails as well, but that also doesn't fully encapsulate all that Recover does and the Dunning best practices. And then even if people do know that it's in Recurly, they might not even have it set up, right? They might only have 1 or 2 emails when in fact there's a lot more that they can do.
Okay, yeah. I mean, 1 email is probably not enough, especially because even if they are reminded of the problem, you don't have an easy way to, because probably these companies set up a way so you can, add your cards, but they didn't code anything for updating it or creating reminders and so on. So right. I think that's a big problem. So yeah, I think I'm happy with that answer. So we'll just move forward to start brainstorming the page itself.
Okay.
So the formula that I always use for the headline is how we can get this results without the main problem or the main objection. So what would you say is the result there after and the main objection? And I'll go ahead and correct that if it's not good enough.
Yeah. So the main result obviously is, well, it's twofold. It's kind of the same 2 parts or 2 sides of the same coin, which is churn reduction and revenue recovery are like the 2 main results that you get. Money that's lost and leaked out every month, that's just going to happen due to the nature of a subscription business. And could you explain the main problem objection again?
Yeah, the main problem is, okay, they might know that they're losing money, but they, like, the way they perceive the solution is they might think it takes too much time to set up, like I need to code this, and it's not worth it, I have other priorities. Usually it's time, or it's setup times, or it's just, or they don't have any technical knowledge.
Oh, I see. Yeah. Well, I wonder, because there's like the setup is very easy. It does require a little bit of developer help initially, just to do like a small piece of embedded code, which is probably like the main, which is definitely the main kind of obstacle that people have to get through. But the main problem is that people are losing thousands of dollars every month, and they don't really even know that they can prevent that, right? And then it's a very preventable problem that's happening, and then they're not even aware of. And so, I think maybe it could be something around like, I don't know. Help me through that part.
Yeah. So the way I'm thinking is we could say, because I noticed, like, you guys had a video that is like a couple of years old, and you mentioned usually businesses are losing like 10% of the revenue. So I think that's something we can talk about. So we could say you're losing 10% of your revenue. Here's how to fix it in X amount of minutes, because that's do without part. So when we say you can fix it in 30 minutes, we're saying without taking much time. So essentially follows the formula. It doesn't follow it to the way you phrase it is differently, but it's the same formula. So what do you think about that?
Yeah, I don't have the exact numbers in front of me, so I hesitate to put like a number on it quite yet. I want to get that number, but yeah, I wonder if there's some way to kind of communicate in a way where it's like, it's like basically it's like the highest ROI activity you can do. It's sort of like
Yeah,
a set it and forget it a little bit, of like
exactly.
do this one thing, set it up one time. It depends on how long it takes. I mean, really for like the hours of work time that it takes is probably like 3 hours max. But then you are losing that revenue, those thousands of dollars for the rest of the year. You know what I mean? So don't
I mean,
know.
when do people start using, Recover? What's the minimum amount of revenue that they usually, start using this?
Yeah, usually it's about within like a year, their first year of business, or right around like the very minimum, like $1,000 or $2,000 in monthly recurring revenue. But because that's usually like when some of the credit cards start to expire, or they at least have enough customers where this is a problem, that they start to be aware of. It might be like an anomaly if you're any smaller than that. But most companies, who make really good use of Recover and find the most value are doing, hundreds of thousands of dollars in revenue. So, or millions, so there's a big spectrum right there, right?
Yeah. So the reason I asked that is because we could probably say you're losing thousands a month. So if they're doing, we could say you're losing thousands a month because their revenue is close to that. We're not going to say hundreds because people are probably not going to use this with only a couple of grand a month.
Yeah, I think thousands is fair on average.
Like thousands every month to fail payments. Here's how to fix it. And I mean, how can we say this to make it seem like as like super easy? Because you mentioned it takes like around 3 hours. So we could say, here's how to fix it in a day, because.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, one day is a very reasonable time commitment. I think that's fine for now.
Perfect. I think we have a good headline. Okay, so basically the subheadline just justifies whatever the headline says. And I think we can just justify that. So we could say, like, your customers have credit cards that have expired. Oh. So what are the ways that payments can fail? So the credit cards expire, and I think there are a couple other use cases.
Yeah,
right?
there's a few. It's credit card expiration, it's insufficient funds, it's a bank decline, or it might not be like a valid payment method at all. Like they've just like maybe they canceled their credit card, for example.
Okay, so we could say there are a ton of things that can go wrong when it comes to charging your customers cards, like expired cards, insufficient funds, and you mentioned, let's say, bank, what was it?
Yeah, bank declines.
Bank declines. How much is that costing you every month? Here's how to, I think we can just say that, here's how to set it and forget it. I think that's good enough. Then the call to action would just be try it for free for 14 days, right?
Yeah.
For 14 days. And because you're already recovering money on those 14 days, right?
Yeah. I mean,
So,
if someone gets it set up in the same day that they start their trial, right?
okay, so we could say, don't believe it. See how much you can recover in 14 days. Free, right? I also have like this template where we can kind of see how it will look like, and then that's the point where we start copy and pasting images to see how it would look like, so you can send it to your designer and everything. But we will do that, later on. Like, this is like the way to, just don't have any distractions. That's why I'm doing it this way. So, like, section number 2 is talking about the problems of the tools you're currently using. So what I think could be one angle is, okay, you're using Stripe, and we could say, we can like show an example of an email that Stripe sends, and we can say, do you think this is enough to fix all your problems? How are you billing? How are you changing the card, warning them once it is about to expire? What do you do when there are sufficient funds? Stuff like that. So what are the ways that it can go wrong? So what are the current ways they are like trying to recover this? Like, I think we have one that is automated, that is from Stripe, and another one that is from just doing it manually, right?
Right. Yeah, those are probably the two main ways. If they don't have anything in place right now, which I think is fine to only address that type of person.
Which one do you think it's fine?
Can we do both? I mean, I think a lot of people do both, because right, Stripe is like the automated. They have the smart retries, which isn't technically dunning, and then they have the one initial email notification, and then they might also have their customer support people reach out manually, once a month or once every 2 weeks or something.
Okay, so we could do that Stripe and then manually. And the way this will look is, I can pull up an example from a client, because I have a client that has is criticizing 2 things. So we could say, this is how we can explain this. So
yeah, I love that.
Their case are like spreadsheets and then off-the-shelf CRM. So I think it's perfect if you just show both, and now they can see, okay, I'm really not doing anything about it. So that's the idea we need to communicate. So what do they do when they do it manually? They try to email and call people individually.
Yeah, like they might have their customer support or customer success team email or call manually once a month, or I would say once or twice a month.
Okay. Which is not frequently enough.
No, not at all.
And
probably also not timely.
Would the product stop working if it noticed the payments failed?
That's a good point, actually. A lot of companies don't have something like that, where they would actually have to either kind of like feature flag it, where the customer support team would see that, hey, this customer isn't paying, or they're not updating it, and so we have to kind of like push the button to put up the paywall. A lot of them don't have like a manual system for that, so customers could go, and I mean, it's actually more common than you think. Customers would go months without paying anything and using the product for free.
Okay, definitely didn't happen to me, because I'm still paying for everything. Okay, okay, that sounds good. And what do you think is like the underlying problem of all of this? So we have people that are following up with customers manually, and then we have Stripe that it only sends one email notification. Those are like the symptoms or part of the causes. What do you think is the underlying problem?
Yeah, the underlying problem is that they don't have the technology or the systems to recognize, when these failed payments are happening, and then have an automated way of following up with everything that they can and should be doing. So one of the, it might not be relevant to this part, right? But it's not just the emails too. There's also the in-app reminder and paywall, where that's where someone, right? If someone after, let's say 2 weeks, right, still isn't updating their information, then you can throw up a paywall. So the next time they log in, they have to update it, or they can choose not to and then churn out, which in that case they meant to anyways. And then there's also a hosted credit card form where instead, even if you email someone and you say, hey, your payment method has failed, where are you sending people to, right? A lot of people just say, hey, please log into our app and go to the billing section and then find the section where your card is and then click, add new payment method, which is a ton of work and people don't want to go through that. There's a lot of friction. And so they just don't end up bothering and they kind of wait until they're forced to do something. So the hosted credit card form sends people directly to like a single form on a page where they update their information and then it just goes right away and they don't have to do anything else. So
Yeah.
To summarize again, the underlying problem I think is they don't have the technology to be able to recognize and do these things. And they don't have any automated systems that can persistently follow up with customers.
Okay, and to automate the follow-ups with customers. Okay, that sounds perfect. Because what we'll do is the underlying problem is the headline, and then the individual problems become, with that grid that I've showed you with the other client projects, where we just say, okay, here's the problems with the menu, with the doing it manually. Here's the problems with Stripe, and then we want to quantify. Okay, here's how much money it's costing you. I mean, ideally, we can use a calculator because I've seen you guys doing it on the pricing page, so I think we can include it.
Yeah. Really quickly before I forget, I just want to say, maybe on the end of that last sentence there, do you have detect to identify? Maybe we can say to automate follow-ups with customers through multiple channels, because that's kind of what the idea is, right? It's not just through email, it's also through the app and notifications and the hosted credit card form, wherever they are that we can handle it.
Okay, we'll see how that goes, because sometimes when this doesn't really match the whatever problems we're talking about, I just use this headline for the solution. But we'll see how that flows, and we'll take care of that in a second. So how do you think we can calculate this cost? Because we can't really have a percentage.
Totally. I think that we have the stats. I just need to go find them. But basically we can do something like, what's your MRR, and then calculate how much are you losing to that annually to failed payments and delinquent churn.
Okay, that sounds good.
I think that's very reasonable.
And would they input their churn or something?
No, they don't even need to. It's really just, I think we have a stat on average. A customer will lose, I think, I don't want to say the wrong number, but it's a percentage of revenue is lost every month to fail charges and delinquent churn.
And can we say, are you comfortable saying, for example, around 7% or around 8%? Would you be comfortable?
We can do something like that. We can say on average, SaaS and subscription companies lose X percentage of their revenue every month due to failed charges and delinquent churn.
Okay, so can we do that on the headline as well? So we could say you're losing, let's say, 9% of your revenue every month.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
9% of your revenue.
Yeah, well, maybe, I wonder if in the headline, because it depends, right? It depends on the industry, how many customers they have. Usually like that number goes up if you have a higher volume of customers. Say you have like a $10 a month app, you have like a lot of customers that you serve. Whereas if you have maybe a $100 a month app, you don't have as many customers, and that number might be a little bit lower. But basically, the higher number of customers, the higher number you're probably going to be losing to delinquent churn.
But how much does that fluctuate? If it changes from 9 to 11%, is not a big deal. But if it changes from 9 to 20%, it's a big deal. How much do you think that fluctuates?
I don't know. It's a good question.
Okay, so I'm just going to leave a comment. If this is not good, just move to to the thousands. If this doesn't work, just use losing thousands. Because it's not really a big deal. Okay. So on the calculator, we'll just do, these are not like the actual copy. It's just like some bullet points. So input for the MRR, percentage, for example, at 9%, last revenue. And then we just say, here's how much you're losing. Here's how much you're losing by not fixing this.
And maybe we can put a note, like under what's the cost of fixing this. It could either be like a subtitle or maybe even like a tooltip that kind of pops up where we explain, like, we find on average, that customers lose X percentage, and that's how we're kind of getting this number.
Yeah. Okay. Insert a stats. That makes perfect sense. And we should also say something like, try it yourself. Just so we don't remember, because we need to make it interactive so people don't scroll through it thinking it's just like a normal graph. This is something that I can interact with. So, okay, now that we talked about the problem, so here's what's wrong with their current way of doing things. And it just sucks. They now understand how much money they're losing. And now you're saying, okay, this is the situation that you're facing right now. You want to recover you want to be able to recover all of that revenue without that much work. Here's how Baremetrics Recover is the vehicle to doing that within a day. So the way we'll explain that is, you're gonna just imagine you're some sort of consultant, and that these companies would come to you with all of those problems, like the problems that we mentioned above, from doing it manually and having failed payments, failed cards, expired cards, and so on. How would you fix those step by step? Imagining that you're the one setting up the account. How would you do it?
So obviously step one would be to enable Recover, but I don't know if that's just kind of a given. But step one would be to set up all the emails. And so essentially, we would go in and we would customize each one of the emails, activate the ones before expiration, at failed payment, and then when they're delinquent. So there's kind of 3 different stages. And then we'd also set up like the deliverability kind of details so that it comes directly from a team member, like in their company, and not from like a third-party service. Actually, I got the prototype up here too.
Okay, so when you set up the emails, this is like an automated drip sequence where you have the templates, and it kind of just works, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
With a bunch of templates. But what do you need to set up Recover? Because step one can be send the emails, because that seems...
Yeah, actually, step one would be connect your data sources. So that'd be like, Stripe, Braintree, Recurly, etc. Whatever they're processing their payments through that we support.
And what are the underlying steps with connecting your payment processor?
Well, so Recover is an add-on feature, right? So someone would need to start a trial with Baremetrics and then enable Recover in their account. When they're going, basically when you start a trial with Baremetrics, you add in your data sources. So then when you enable Recover, you don't need to do anything else because we already have your data sources connected.
Oh, okay. Okay, so yeah, that makes sense, because Baremetrics was like a Stripe, like a analytics for Stripe. So
yeah,
that makes sense. Yeah, but if I were to get a free trial of Recover, would I be able to get a free trial of Recover if I wasn't like a a customer for Baremetrics?
No. We've considered that. It's still maybe like a possibility, but today and for this launch, no, you have to be using Baremetrics, like the core product, which is the metrics and analytics, and then you add on Recover.
Okay, so imagine I'm a Baremetrics customer. If I go to get a free trial, it's just like a normal free trial of another product of only the add-on, and I can try it for free even though I'm already a customer, right?
Yeah, well, that's one of the things I'm trying to figure out the best way to communicate it, because basically when someone goes into their account to enable a Recover, we don't charge them right away. We charge them on the next billing cycle. So say, for example, what's today? Today is the 19th, and let's say that your billing cycle is on the 1st of every month. Well, then we actually wouldn't charge you for Recover until the 1st, but you can use it for free essentially until your next billing date. But I don't know if that's worth communicating. Maybe we can keep it a little bit vague of like, try Recover for free, or we could also consider doing something like your first month of Recover is free, to incentivize someone getting up and started with it.
Okay, that makes sense. I think that sounds good. They can definitely get results in that time period, so I like it. So within Baremetrics, how would I set up Recover if I already have my payment processor connected?
Yeah, you would go to the Recover feature, and then you would click Enable, and then that would take you into the page to start basically setting it up with a little setup flow.
Okay, and what happens in the setup flow? Because that's what I want to know.
Yeah. So since you already have it there, the first thing that we would do is we would set up your emails and essentially the content for each one of the emails. So we have these templates that you can start with, where we have, like I mentioned before expiration, when the payment first fails, and then after they're delinquent. And so you would just customize all the copy and branding and everything that you want to make the emails your own, essentially.
Okay. Okay, that sounds good. So it seems like we just have to enable it with one click, and then the setup flow, starts with the emails. And what happens after the emails?
Yeah, after the emails, then we're going to ask you essentially where do you want to send people to. So we have the hosted credit card form, so you can either have it on a Baremetrics subdomain, or you can have it on your own website. For basically, yeah, I want to highlight, that you can put it on your own website, but maybe as like a fallback, basically mention how, or we can host it for you, essentially.
Okay.
And then basically, this is where we're taking people to, or taking your customers to update with a new payment method.
Okay, so it's like let's say like it's just like a form. It's like a form page, right?
Yeah.
To update the credit card details. Okay, and what happens afterwards?
And then the third step would just be to basically install and embed the in-app reminder and paywall. And so you can, again, customize. We use some of the same information for both the host credit card form and the in-app reminder and paywall. And so maybe we should mention that one first, actually. I think that's kind of actually where the flow goes, because essentially you would choose all the branding for it. And then after that, basically you just choose, okay, where do you want to send people to? From the emails, do you want to send them to a subdomain where we have everything already configured that you've set up with the form, or do you want to send them to your own website where you will embed it? So
Okay.
step 2 actually would be to configure the form and embed. Step 3 would be set up your in-app reminder and paywall.
So, yeah. So step 2 is the forms. Then is the impact reminder, the in-app reminder, and then the emails.
Emails first, the in-app reminder and paywall installation second, and then the hosted credit card form third.
Okay. See if it's correct this time. So we'll enable it. Then we set up the emails. Then we do in-app reminders. Then we do the form page. Is the form the same thing as the pop-ups that you're describing on the website?
It's similar. In fact, why don't I just walk you through it super quick, because I think it'll be easier if you see it.
Yeah, that's perfect.
And then you can keep yours up. We don't have to split it. It might be a little small for you, but okay. Can you see this? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. So this is like our design prototype. It's going to be a little bit laggy here for a second because my internet's a little slow. Okay, perfect. So let me walk you through so you can see. This is like the end result. So once you have everything all set up and everything's good to go, you have this massive amount of in-depth analytics. Will show you your ROI of how much you're recovering versus how much you're paying for recover. And I'm going to grab the stats for that. Actually, I just got the data from the engineers, so I'm going to go look at that here in a minute, possibly after the call. But you can see all the basic status of each one of your customers who are delinquent, and then we can see the performance over time. And so I can get really in-depth analytics on, are things improving? Are they not improving? What are the reasons why the payments fail?
Yeah, but
and then for the actual, so I'll get to the setup flow.
Yeah, that's more important.
So the setup flow is, see, we start here with the emails, and basically we jump right into the content of the email. So we can see basically this would be a drop down of before expiration, once the initial email notification, and then after expiration or after it's delinquent. And so I can basically put in all of my details here of what I want it to, who I want it to come from, customize the subject line, the content of the email. We have some personalization tokens here. I can test it and preview it as much as I want. The second part, really, I don't think we need to take someone through like the exact flow of what it would look like for them to set up. I think we just need to explain basically in logical order of like, here's how to think about it, and here are the things, here's how we help you do it. So the second part would be then the credit card form, which is, as you can see here, it's this embeddable script. So this is what it looks like on a page. And then this is what it looks like in your app as like a payment paywall. And then we have this little call out, which is like a reminder in your app. So how it works is there's a grace period, right? So you can choose to either show the paywall immediately or after 7 days or after 14 days, after 30 days. So this would be up when there's a grace period. And then this would be up when after the grace period, essentially.
Okay, but one thing that I was still a little bit confused is, it seems like you showed me the credit cards form first, and then you showed me the in-app reminders and the paywall.
Yes. So they're all connected to, but here first, basically we would choose the hosting. We'd actually do this before. We would do it here with the billing link, where you would choose either to put it on our subdomain or on your own website. But this is also like, this is in the app. We have like a wizard flow that takes someone through the setup process, and basically just kind of like handhold you through it. But here, like this is like the settings tab where you would actually go and like edit it essentially after the fact.
Okay, that sounds good. So I think like the last two things can kind of be interchangeable. So like the in-app reminders and the paywall. we'll see how that flows. So we're just going to start writing and see how we can use it. So for the step one, we could say step one is just enabling recover in your Baremetrics dashboard. And we could say no need to set up integrations with your payments process because that's already set up within your normal Baremetrics account, right?
Correct.
Okay. Then step number two is set up automated drip campaigns for failed payments. I think I want to mention the templates first. So we could say ready to, or we can just say mention that in the copy. So we could say we have 10 plus ready to deploy email sequences where you just need to add your branding and you're ready to deploy them.
Yeah, essentially, I mean, we already have the templates and the campaigns set up. They just need to go in and customize and fit to their own brand, but they're ready to go right there from the get-go.
Okay, that sounds good. And step number three would be set up, enable automated, like enable in-app reminders and paywalls for your we could say churning customers or no? That doesn't make sense.
Not exactly, because someone who churns could also voluntarily cancel. This is technically, it's called delinquent churn. But that's also, I don't necessarily want to assume that someone knows what we mean by that.
Yeah. We could just say for your failed payments. Okay, and we could just say our just copy and paste our JavaScript, right? JavaScript code.
Or you can just say our code snippet.
Yeah, code snippet. And you'll receive, and your customers will receive an automated reminders before and after their payment has failed. Like, is that accurate, before and after?
Yeah, that's accurate, because basically the only time the emails are sent out before the payment has failed is if we know that the credit card is about to expire, which we do have that data, and we have a full list of people who basically are at risk. And so it's accurate. I think that's a good, like, kind of all-inclusive term to use for it.
Okay, that's perfect. So what common questions do people have about these? Oh yeah, I'm missing the last one. Step 4. send them to a customizable form to update their details.
Yeah, and that form too, like that page, the form that we design, it's like it's optimized to convert. There's no distractions. It's very like straightforward and clear. So I'd like to highlight, that this page is created specifically to get people to actually go through with the action, getting to update their payment method.
Okay, so I'm just going to say no need to code a custom solution to update your billing. Your customers will be sent to a distraction-free form where they can
convert,
optimized to convert, where they can update their billing details and fix their failed payments issues, something like that. We could say we can just add some check marks. So I have this handy. So fully customizable to your brands. And then we could say host it on your domain. Host it on your domain or under the Baremetrics.com domain. Right?
Yep.
Okay, perfect. Are there like any questions that people might have about these steps in particular? Because what we'll do is we'll just add them in the copy and then answer those questions.
Would you mind sharing your screen again? I can see what these are.
I mean, just questions that come up.
Yeah, it'll probably just jog my memory to be able to look at it.
Okay. Makes sense. So you don't know them from memory, right?
No. Well, I mean, I could think of a few. I just want to see what the major points were, so I can. It's about. Oh, is this like just about recover in general, or about like the setup flow, or just?
Yeah, like the setup individually, like each step. So what are the things that they don't understand?
Let's see. Everyone always asks about deliverability and if they can add in their own SPF and DKIM records, which we can, and that's essentially what makes someone able to send it from their own domain instead of basically from ours or from third party.
Okay, perfect. And then we can say, yes, you can. You can select both, right? For the emails.
Select both what?
Like either your domain or their domain for the emails.
Yeah, it'd be under their domain. So okay. Basically, the SPF and DKIM, instead of there being like a bunch of like jargon after their domain of like, Cortez.design.intercom.123 yada yada yada. It just comes from Pedro@Cortez.design.
Okay, let me reshare the screen because I forgot about that. Okay. Okay, perfect. So now I'm saying, can I send it up under my own domain? Yeah, yes, you can choose to send all of the emails under not only your domain, but a team member in specific, if you want, something like that. because that's what they want. Maybe they want to send it from a CEO or something.
Yeah, usually like a customer success person.
Yeah, perfect. And then about the results that people are getting, I noticed that you guys have like a bunch of results, and we can quantify them, because we could say, I even saw a tweet saying, okay, thanks, Baremetrics recovered, and like a screenshot of 20 grand that they recovered. So that's a good one, I think.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna note down here, like screenshots of, people recovering, tens of thousands or something like that, tens of thousands dollars. And you can use screenshots, and you can also use video testimonials. Here's like the formula to use it. So you just ask your customers, okay, can you record a quick selfie video? Sometimes when you speak to your own, like whenever you're speaking to the customers, because I know you do that sometimes, you can just record a call and do it at the end and ask them to do this. So you ask these questions. Actually, need to change this one because it's from a client. So what problems were they having? Previously, like, so they can list out the problems and people can relate to those problems. And how does it feel to have all of those problems fixed? And how did Baremetrics recover help you fix them, right? Okay, and that's all you have to do. You just ask them and put that in the testimonial section. There's really nothing more to it. So for the call to action at the end, we could say, this is like the formula that I use to create urgency. Like, many companies are using Recover to win back thousands every month. When will you? Example. And then we could say, you can try Recover for 1 month and see how much revenue you can get back from failed payments. Just the setup is super easy, and you can set it and forget it. Okay, then this could be like, this is just something to remind them of how easy it is. So we could say, I don't know, like 30-day free trial, no contracts, something like that. No contract needed.
Also, we something that we're gonna do, but we've already been doing, that we're gonna quantify is that the ROI is guaranteed, and so we can just put that in there maybe right now. Just say like ROI guaranteed dash or something, basically like I'll have to think of the exact words, but basically something to the effect of, if you don't get a certain number of revenue recovered, then we will give you your next month free, or essentially, or pricing is designed to make you, basically we're thinking like somewhere between like 5 to 10 times more than what you pay for Recover.
Okay, that sounds good. So I think I'm just gonna add it here. So if you don't recover, do you have like a ballpark? So we could say, if you don't recover.
I'm figuring that out right now. I have the spreadsheet open. I'm gonna crunch the numbers, but I don't know yet.
I'm just gonna put number.
Yeah, it's fine.
We won't even charge you a dime.
Yeah.
Something like that. Okay, perfect.
And one more thing, maybe this goes into a different area, or maybe it's good here, but I want to mention how I really want to push that every single SaaS or subscription-based company needs a denning solution. And because really it's an essential part of every tech stack that not a lot of people, it's a very like unsexy thing. You know, not everyone's like, oh, I can't wait to set up my dining solution, right?
Yeah.
But it's very, very essential. And every single one literally should have it. So
okay, so
we can weave that in somewhere.
We'll do that in the problem or the solution part, because we'll do that in like, we could probably do that in the next 15 minutes and just finish this.
Cool.
One thing about the alternative, so if people are not ready to get started right now, maybe we can send them to a webinar where you show, okay, here's how we set this up for a customer, and here's the results. And we could just, I think in your case, we could just create a webinar for that, or just a normal video like a lead magnet. So we could say, don't believe it. Watch us.
Well, I don't have a webinar yet, and I'm not sure if we will in the near future by the time we launch. So maybe right now.
It's like a stretch goal. So okay, a demo. Okay, so we could just do demo or video case study. Not really a problem. Watch us recover 10 grand with 3 hours worth of setups. And then it's just say unlock the video. Something like that. We don't need to cover this one because you don't have it right now. So this is just like just an example. So what we'll do now is we'll move this to the other doc so we can see what this looks like. So we can move it here and say, okay, you're losing 9% of your revenue every month to failed payments. Here's how to fix it in a day. Okay, so we can see fix it in a day. And now we can change the headline and say 9%. 9%. That's the average revenue any SaaS business loses to failed payments due to expired cards, insufficient funds, and bank. Should probably just copy this.
Do we want to list all those, or do we want to just say due to failed payments?
I think I want to list those because I want to remind them, okay, here's how many things could go wrong. So that's why I'm listing all those. Okay, I'll just copy that part because I think that's good. Yeah, and you can see it. Try it for free. What did it say here? Don't believe it, see how much you can recover in 30 days. Yeah, that's way better. So we could do that. And then we say, get our free trial, something like that, not super important. And then we just show an image, like a screenshot of the product, not a big deal, of the product. Then we can just show the logos, like hundreds are using Recover to fix their failed payments on autopilot, something like that. And then we just screenshot. Where are the logos? I believe you have. Yeah, the logos on the homepage. Okay, whatever. Yeah, I can still get those.
Welcome.
Yeah, I'm just gonna. Oh, let's do that. Get the screenshots. Put it there. And this is where it starts coming to life. So now we're saying this is about the problem. So let's look at how we describe the problem. Yeah, Stripe only shows one email notification. Okay, so we're gonna need to add another table with few things, and then we'll say Stripe only sends one reminder due think that's enough, right? And you can, I mean, you can change between Stripe and something else. So just going to use that as an example. And then we can just use screenshot of the reminder. Screenshot of the reminders it sends. And then in this case, we show the screenshots of sending emails manually, right? And then for the headline, we can say, honestly now, which is always a good way to grab their attention. So we say, honestly now, and then we say a problem. Is this the way to fix your failed payments? Let's see. Okay, I think I can probably use that somewhere around here. So, do you have a system, an automated system to identify and collect failed payments? Okay, that's good. And then here in the body copy, we could say, if you could say, do you really think that this is enough to recover the 9%, let's just use 9, of revenue you are losing every month? And we always using questions because we need to force them to answer these questions. And now about doing it manually, says, are you going to chase down every customer? What do you think about that one? Are you going to chase down?
Yeah, maybe like manually chase down.
I think I'll probably just do that. Every customer. Let me just see. There's like a comment here. Great stream. I have to go. Possible to get that link to. Yeah, we can send that link later. Okay, and then we would just like describe this. So let's just do that in bullet points. Stripe only sends one email, and we'll have the screenshots. Okay, so put it at 11. I think we'll just use this as a filler, because like whatever you have to do is just explain what's wrong, and you can use like the opposite of check marks, like the thing that has like a cross and it says it's wrong,
right,
and so on. So let me just copy and paste that here so you don't forget about it. And yeah, that's about it. Now we can just talk about the calculator, which is, we'll just create like another table and put it in a different color and say, oh, I need to add like column. And then we just add a picture with a graph. And then you say, here's a graph based on the calculator.
Could you put a note in there? Just I wonder also if I'd like to explore the idea of either doing like, here's how much you're losing, or here's how much you can recover with recover.
Yeah. I think it's better if we say losing, because that's probably more urgent. So here's how much you are losing, and we can say failed payments accumulator. Yeah, lost revenue. Okay, just make it smaller. And you can put it like in another color, something like that. Here's how much you're losing to failed payments. Okay, don't believe it. Just try it below. And then I'm just gonna put like an arrow icon. Arrow. Let's put an icon. Yeah, something like this. Oh. Something like that. And then you say, you just input your MRR, say 200,000, and then average loss revenue 9%. It's just losing per month, lost revenue per month. And we could say it's 2,000 a month, something like that. You can do a month or a year, something like that. And then you have like the calculator and some sort of graph, and it's, fairly simple. Am I going too fast or?
No, we're good.
Perfect. So now we're talking about the solution, because now we just need to copy and paste these things. Okay, so perfect. We could just say, here's how to fix all of your failed payments with one simple setup, right? It's super easy to fix all of these issues. Oh, we could say we've made it super easy. We have made it, including email templates, in-app reminders, and ready to go snippets. Yeah, and credit cards form, customizable. Okay, perfect. And then we just say, try it for free for 30 days. And then we just copy and paste what this said here. And now that we're looking at this, we could say, is there any way that you can explain this, with a screenshot or with a GIF? So maybe here you can put GIF of enabling recover, because it's better than an illustration, like as long as you don't overuse it, right? So then this one.
I think we lost your sharing screen.
What?
You're not sharing a screen anymore. It just dropped.
Okay, not sure what
happened. I might
happened.
have timed out. Yeah.
Yeah, now it's working. Perfect.
There we go.
So, yeah, and then for the automated campaigns, you can just illustration with a few template examples showing tags like, I'm not sure how to do the brackets on my Mac. We could say first name, so people understand like how this is, customizable, right? Then the same thing for step number 3. This now it's when it gets like super easy when we just need to copy and paste this. And that's for this image paywalls is you show GIF whenever customer stops paying. So you could say. And one common question that people might have is that that period. So how can we say this? Can I customize when the customer gets the paywall? You can select how many days you let the customer use the product before the paywall blocks them from using it. Okay, perfect. And now the last one, just this one. Send the customizable form. And I think we can just use a GIF of clicking on an email link and updating the details. Perfect. And then we just add something. Yeah. We just add like a row for the testimonials. And we replace, nope. We just add in the copy for the final call to action, and that's pretty much it. So we could say, this is for the testimonials. Bring it to the center. Here's how our customers are recovering tens of thousands every month with a one-time setup. Something like that, and then you just show. Just gonna put. I mean, I don't know. Could just add an image like this, and but I can just add like a video icon or a testimonial icon.
Yeah, that's fine. We have like 3 really good testimonials we can pop in there.
Yeah, I mean, video would probably be ideal because people would hear about the experiences, but that's totally fine as well. So let's say I'm just gonna add here another one. And we could say video or text testimonial from your customers. Quantify the revenue recovered as much as possible. And then we want to differentiate the color just so we can make it different, right? And then this is just showing the logos again. So I'm just going to copy and paste them and saying all of these companies are already using it to get a bunch of money. So hundreds are already using. Let me see what the headlines is over here. It's pretty similar to the testimonials, but it's not like that's going to make a difference. When will you? Okay, so
Yeah,
That's just
you could also
create.
say hundreds. We have hundreds of users using Recover, so we have a few hundred actually.
Okay, we could say, yeah, could say that. Oh, okay, we could say here, hundreds using Recover to impact the revenue. Perfect. Just need to add in the check mark for here. Then put it dark and say try it for 14 days, 30 days. Yeah, and I think
and then
we
do your
didn't really miss
repeat
anything.
the secondary call to action.
Yeah, we need to add a call to action, but the thing is you kind of don't have it right now, right?
Well, yeah, I think I do want to do like a demo call, basically a link to a Calendly. I don't have the exact verbiage, but basically I want to say, you know, get a personalized tour of how Recover can work for you, something like that.
Okay, and how much is the tour? Like how much time?
30 minutes.
Okay. You can say, damn it. You could say skeptical. You can book a quick tour, guided tour with our team. Right, and then we could say one of our product specialists can walk you through how everything works and how you can set it up for your company. Just going to do how you can set it up and answer any questions you might have. Okay, book a free tour. Just do a demo. Specialists, and that now we can say personalized demo. How much we could say. What else can we say to talk about things about the demo?
Maybe we can do something around, I mean, it's not like a full audit, but we can say something around like, you know, some sort of free audit of your current process. Or we can just say something like, you know, book at your own convenience, you know, choose a time that works best for you. Or like schedule a call now, like basically like it's just going to go to my Calendly. So,
okay,
you know,
so
it's not
we
like
could say,
someone's going to be like in contact with you. Like you can just book it right now.
and are you going to show the like a Calendly embed?
It could be embedded, or it could just be a link that'll just take someone to it from the button.
Okay. I mean, maybe the embed can just show, okay, I'm not taking to a contact form. So maybe that could be easy. So I'm just going to insert that screenshot and, you know, just in case, Calendly embed. Let me see if I can find an image of what it looks like. Yeah, something like that.
I think I've seen it on your page, right?
Yeah, I have it embedded so people don't think it's another thing. The only reason I don't put it on the homepage is because I can track the people that had the intention of booking it. That's why I have like a / consultation link. That's the only reason. Shoot. Not sure why this is not going away. Using the calendar. Okay, perfect. Yeah, I think that should work.
Cool. I know we're a little bit over time, but one of the last things that I'm kind of wondering, or that I would like to include something about, is essentially how we're different from other solutions out there, because I know that that's going to be something that people are wondering or that they're going to be looking for. How do you normally, go about that or communicate it?
I mean, usually it's kind of interesting. It's kind of, you can kind of tell when you explain the solution, or when we are criticizing, these things, like the things they are using, because usually they're using a competitor and they're not happy with it. In your case, you're like an upgraded version of what they're using, not not a competitor, like a direct competitor. So, what exactly is different about Recover? And we'll see how we can fit that in.
Yeah, so some of the main things, right? So like what we've highlighted already is like nothing versus something, whereas we kind of want to compare Recover versus other solutions who solve that same need. Some of the things that I wanted to highlight are one is just the level of analytics. And so we're going to give you everything under the sun. I mean, I kind of showed you it in like in the screen share, but essentially, the analytics are going to give you every detail you could ever want about your revenue retention rates and how many of the failed payments are actually being recovered. Another part is customizability, because many others don't offer the same level of customization. In fact, some don't offer any customization at all. And the customization is really important to fit your brand and to get the best performance. And then the last one is just the way that we price. So with the 1 month free, ROI guaranteed, and then we do it based on a flat monthly rate instead of a commission-based structure or a scaled tiered structure.
Okay, so we can say flat rates, so you don't flat rate pricing, so you don't like overpay
Basically,
for the. No.
Yeah, you could say overpay, or kind of the way that I like to communicate it is so you don't pay more for what should have already been yours in the first place.
Okay, so don't overpay for the revenue. Yeah, it's already theirs. That should be yours already. Yeah, maybe I can just include that on like a different section altogether.
Yeah.
That's better because it's too long. Okay, so I'm just going to insert a different section. I'm glad you brought these points out, because by the end of each page, that's exactly what we need to do, is just look at the things that we missed and just add them in. Whatever questions people ask that we didn't answer, and that's pretty much how that works. Yeah, and the best part, I don't want to say like cheaper, is we work on a flat rate. We price on a flat rate.
Yeah, so, well, maybe to help explain it a little bit better, right? So one of our competitors does commission-based pricing. So essentially you pay more for when you're losing more, or when you have more failed payments, which is kind of like a double whammy. It doesn't really make sense for you. And so that's one common way that people can overpay. Another way is that people have what's called like a scaled tiered pricing. And so they'll say, you know, if you're basically once you hit a certain threshold, it gets more expensive, whereas we stay flat no matter where you are. Maybe like something around like fairness or because the pricing does scale up with you as you grow. All of our pricing is based on your revenue, but it's not based on the revenue that you're losing specifically.
Okay.
Maybe we just put something around that. You know, that's where shoot. Price. I was gonna say maybe that'd be a good place to mention something around like ROI guaranteed again, but maybe we can just say something like in the best part, we'll never charge you more for.
We could say we won't charge commissions. It's not like this is set in stone. We can rephrase this all the time. Like, let's say tomorrow you'll find like a random way to say this better, and this is not like set in stone. It's just like,
I think that's a good placeholder.
The overall idea, and I mean this is like 80% there. With a few tweaks, you're like ready to send this to a designer, so it's fairly good.
Yeah.
So we could say that. Not sure. I'm just gonna leave here the comments, but not sure how cheap they perceive this is. But if they think it's super cheap, we can add the pricing. If not, let's not say about the pricing. So if they think it's super cheap, you can add the pricing and compare it to the fees that Profitwell charges. Not sure if you can do that, but this is a suggestion. It's always a suggestion because there's always like legal issues with these things. So the other thing that you mentioned, because I was adding, but then you mentioned another thing and I forgot. I was going to add, analytics that what are the analytics for? Like, I know you can, see different sources of your failed payments. What else can you see? Because I mean, we're using this as a set in stone setup, and like you get free money, and I think people probably won't want to look at it again. Wait, I can't really hear you. I think I lost your mic. Wait, I can't hear you. Yeah, I believe my sound is working, but I can't really hear anything. Like, you don't have your AirPods on, so did you change the microphone? See if you change it on the Demio settings. Yeah, still not hearing anything. Yeah, nothing. Still nothing. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, it doesn't work. Still doesn't work. Yeah, my mic works. The output works. So there doesn't seem to be an issue on my end. Have you checked the inputs on, like in the demo settings? Yeah, your microphone is off.
Now?
Yeah, just speak now.
Hello, hello?
Yeah, now I can hear you. Your microphone is off. I can see it in the admin panel.
Oh, you know what? I think it my AirPods died. I think when it died, it muted me.
Oh, okay, got it. Okay, let's just
Okay, sorry about that.
continue. So what we were talking about was, the
Oh, yeah.
analytics. What are the things that you can track with the analytics?
So you'll get a complete month-over-month and like historical performance review of everything that has to do with your failed charges and recovered revenue. You'll also get details around your basically like a like we'll prove to you how much we're recovering every month and the ROI for paying for recover.
Okay, visualize your ROI and yeah, visualize ROI.
And then maybe we can just say like detailed breakdown of every customer status and historical performance.
Okay. Detailed breakdown of every customer's status. Okay, and now I'm saying, here's what you can track with our analytics that you can't track manually or by using any other
software.
Yeah, any other software. Yeah, that's fine. But I just need to come up with a headline, and I think we'll be done. So I wanted to say like a bird's eye view. But also wanted to mention analytics.
Maybe we can say something around like, we'll prove it to you, or like, maybe just like something like detailed analytics of everything you want to get into, or something like that.
Okay, plus gets free details analytics of all of your payments and recovered revenue. And the Google Docs looks kind of huge. Detail analytics of all of your payments and recovered revenue. Okay, yeah, I think that sounds good. And then you just use a screenshot of the tool itself, the analytics itself, like fairly easy, fairly straightforward.
Mhm.
Oh. Then I'm just going to change the background so you know this should be slightly different. And I mean, I think that's about it. I think.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, let me copy and paste, just a testimonial like this, so we know, oh, it can either be video or something like that, because that's what I found on Twitter randomly the other day. Yeah, either that or the video, whatever. I just wanted to quantify it as much as possible.
Yeah.
Okay,
Love
perfect.
Yeah. Cranking it out.
Yeah, but at least is pretty close to be done.
Yeah, I think so. Like you said, it's got to be 80, 85% there. I want to crunch some of the numbers on some of the more specifics of like the stats and stuff. Yeah, is there anything else that you have on your list or agenda or things we need to go over?
No, I mean, that's pretty much it. We just follow the formula and everything just falls into place. Like all of the questions are just made to get the insights out of you. So it's like ready to go. The only thing we didn't write is like the things that are wrong with doing it manually, but those are like bullet points.
Yeah.
Take just 5 more minutes.
Yeah, and that'll be pretty easy to go through.
Yeah. Do you have an idea of what to put in the images? Because I mean, I left comments for all the images, and I mean, ideally we just use with the GIFs and screenshots. We can, you can make the screenshots pretty and so on, like you've done.
Yeah.
With the other design, and then I mean, it's ready to go. Usually GIFs are really good to show this, especially in your case where the setup is really simple, and you can really show. Okay, you don't even have to customize the emails if you don't want. You can just drag your logo and the pop-ups are ready. So it's it's perfect.
Yeah, it's pretty turnkey. Well, awesome, man. Thanks so much for all of your help, and this was a lot of fun. We're way over time, but that's just that's what it takes, and that's what you got to do. But thanks for all the work. I super appreciate it. It's been fun.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, I'll consider it half done. I consider it like we almost made it.
Almost, yeah. Almost. It takes a long time. We'll have to give ourselves 2 hours next time.
Yeah. Okay. I think like probably 90 minutes. We could have done it in 90 minutes because the only thing that took more time is like asking the questions.
Right.
But like I wouldn't ask you the questions beforehand, otherwise people wouldn't really understand the background, and it would be like cheating. So I guess it's fine. And we could say we stayed around 90 minutes, and we'll blame it on whenever you tweet this out for the recording. We'll blame it on the AirPods. You can, mention Apple.
No problem. Cool, man. Well, thanks so much. Look forward to getting that. You can just share it whenever it's best for you, and I'll make sure to share the final version too as well. It'll be exciting to get that out.
Yeah, perfect. Just send me an email, while you're doing this, and I'll get back to you.
All right. All the best. Thanks everyone for watching, and we'll see you next time.
Yeah, thanks to the ones that stuck around, and looking forward to hearing what you guys thought about this whole thing.
All right. Peace.
Bye. Cheers.